Hello, boys. Good morning. Welcome to the show. We are fully immersed in NAM, and I think that's going to be the better part of our discussion today. There's a lot of great new stuff coming out, and I have my eye on a couple of things, and we'll obviously talk about all that stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of cool new temptations out there. So we'll regroup. We'll look at some of the stuff that's out there, and that's part of the poll that we have going on this morning as well. So somebody was asking about the poll and saying there's no poll today. There actually is a poll. It was posted in the waiting room. So if you were waiting to, just the show to start, you were able to vote on the poll. I don't know if you didn't see it there. But it was there. Now, how do I get the poll after the fact? I guess I would have to go back to the page there and look at the poll questions live, and I can do that right away. So if you can't see it, let me know. And yeah, let's do it. Just out of curiosity, in case you're wondering, David is number one in terms of he's got the little number one spot for top fans today, with 75 XP. I guess it's experience points. I don't know what XP stands for. But you have 75 of them, David. Dan Steely's number 2 with 75. Then we have Profile Productions, number 3 with 75. And then we have Paul with 50. So I don't know if that makes a difference to you guys or not, but I figured some stats. It's always fun to see who's engaged and who's in the top spot here. And obviously that can change if you participate in the chat and post questions and all that good stuff that we hope you're going to do during the show. So welcome to Addicted to Gear, folks. If you guys are new or returning, I think you know the drill by now. We're here together to kind of support ourselves in the world of guitars and gear, and talk about all the cool stuff that we get tempted by. Today I was playing my Squier Contemporary Strat here. That is still, I think, one of the sleeper products. This came out, I think, in maybe 2018. I don't know exactly when it came out. I think it was 2018. And I love them so much. I grabbed two. I got this one, which is a pearl color, and I got another one that's red. You've probably seen these before. Very, very close to what you can get with a Charvel, but at a much, much cheaper price. And I think they immediately pulled it from production. It wasn't out there long before they stopped making these. I think they realized, oops, we made an oopsie. These are too good, and we can't sell the $1,600 guitars if we can sell these for, I think at the time it was almost like $300 or something. Now they're probably up to $500 or $600. I don't know how much they are now on the used market, but I think they're around there. So yeah, still a very cool guitar that I really enjoy playing all the time. And today's one of those days. So actually what I'm going to be doing, this guitar, David's asking, does it have a Squier neck or a Charvel neck? This is entirely stock Squier, okay? The neck is Squier and everything, but the neck feels like, in terms of the profile, it feels very similar to the neck I have on the Charvel. Actually, the Charvel is a little bit thinner front to back. This one is slightly and ever so slightly thicker, but not much. Obviously, this is a maple neck and the Charvel isn't, but in terms of playability, really cool. The frets on this are slightly, I'm going to say slightly thinner than what you have on the Charvel, but still plenty thick to be easy to play, and obviously doesn't have a Floyd. So I didn't modify this guitar at all. The red one I did. The red one I put in an FU tone brass block, and this one has the standard zinc block. I did a video way back when comparing the two to see if you can hear the difference between the brass block and the standard zinc block. This is a very thin zinc block in there. There's not that much of a difference, to be honest with you guys. I mean, some of you were able to pick out a little bit more sustain, but it's very, very subtle. And at the end of the day, is it worthwhile doing the upgrade? If it makes you feel good and it makes you play more, then I'd say go for it. But honestly, I didn't hear that much of a difference other than a little bit more sustain. So there you have it. The reason I'm bringing this guitar up is because these guitars actually, when they came out, they had ceramic pickups in them, and not to say that ceramic pickups are bad in any way, because some of them actually sound very good. But what I was gonna do was I was actually going to eventually upgrade the pickups, because I like doing that. What I had in mind, and this is a test that I was maybe going to post and you guys were going to be my guinea pigs, I was going to upgrade or change, let's just say that, these pickups, which are ceramic, to a set of humbucker pickups with Alnico 2s in them, because I'm a big fan of the classic, Gibson classic pickups, 57 classics. And so I figured I would go out on Amazon and I'd pick up the cheapest Alnico 2 pickups that I can find and buy those and put them in and see if they do better than the ceramic pickups that are in the guitar stock. And so I went out and I purchased a set of Fleor pickups. I don't know if you've heard of these pickups before. It's funny because they're really cheap. They're really inexpensive. A set of 2 of these pickups were $47. So you're paying, less than $24 or so each pickup, which is pretty cheap compared to the brand names out there that you have to spend like, $100, $150 a pickup to get. So I was curious. I said, let me take one for the team. Let me see how these budget pickups do. And I read a lot of the reviews, and there's a lot of people raving about these things, saying that they punch way above their price point, that they're a brilliant upgrade, that the quality exceeds the price, that they're awesome, that they don't sound cheap. So I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna do a test, and I'm gonna see what kind of results I get. And maybe you guys can benefit from this. And if you're interested in upgrading another guitar, maybe that could be a good choice for you. I don't have a big issue with ceramic magnets per se. Depending on the tone that you're trying to get, right? If you're looking for bite, the ceramics definitely give you that. If you're looking for more of a smoother top end, then you can definitely benefit from going into an Alnico type pickup. So we'll see if I have time. It's probably going to go into this guitar, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison. I'll shoot some guitar playing on this guitar as is, and then I'll switch the pickups out and put those other pickups in there. All right. So how are you guys doing? Everybody doing okay out there? It's crazy cold here. We are currently in what they call a polar vortex. It was pretty cold yesterday, and it's pretty cold today. So I did do a few things outside today. Today I think I'm going to be staying inside, nice and warm, next to the tubes of my amplifier here, so that I don't catch a chill or anything like that. So hopefully you guys are safe and not dealing with brutal cold wherever you are. And so there's already a couple of questions here. I'm going to go back into the chat. And first of all, I'm going to say, because I didn't say it already, if you're new, please go ahead and chat. Don't be shy. We welcome all the newcomers. You have to subscribe to be able to chat on the live feed. and it takes a second. Just hit the subscribe button and then you'll be able to chat. If you don't do that, the system will block you, okay? And that's no fun. Anybody out there at NAM or close to NAM or have walked the show maybe, if you're in the area, I'd be curious to hear your comments. I've been watching all the cool stuff coming out. I do have some favorites so far in the running. We'll talk about all of that stuff too. And let's just go back and see the questions here. Dan wants to know, are the NAM models available yet? Typically, it depends on the company. Typically, like I know Friedman and a few other boutique amp manufacturers, generally when they showcase something at NAM, they don't immediately have it after the show. They usually have it about a month later on their website. So it depends on what you're looking at buying. If it's a big company, you know, Yamaha, Ibanez, Fender, all those big name companies out there, they usually have the stuff immediately after the show. So it depends what you're looking for. Dan, are you looking for something specific? And Dan says the Synchromatic Falcon I just got was a terrific bargain in my opinion. Yeah, I think if you land on a bargain these days, you're definitely considered lucky because there's not a lot of affordable gear. And I think somebody mentioned it, I don't know if it was Paul, but somebody mentioned that, you know, he mentions NAM has a few surprises, but not too much in the bargain category. And I agree with Paul. I don't think there's any more bargains out there. Unfortunately, I think everything is a little bit more expensive. So Profile Productions made a guess early on and said, I'll be playing the Les Paul. Not today. Good guess, though. And Profile also says lots of snow here. I think we're expecting some snow in our area tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And I hope we get the cold weather and snow out of the way early this week, because at the end of the week, I'm flying to Vegas. And I don't want to have any issues being delayed or sidetracked. I know there's a lot of flights that have already been canceled due to poor weather and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully I'll avoid all of that. So we'll see what happens towards the end of the week. Good morning, Shane. Let's see. David said it's NAMtastic. It really is. And David said he bribed me for the #1 spot. Okay. Shane says, new guitar day. Got a used LP arriving tomorrow. Went 2 weeks in 2026, no guitars. So what exactly is this? Is it a Les Paul style guitar, Shane, or is it an actual Les Paul? What are we looking at here? Vox says, my Squier VM70 Strat is stock, and I like it more than any Fender that I've played. A lot of the older Squiers, which I have another one too, which is it's a Squier Deluxe, and it really plays well. It also has a perloid body on it. You've probably seen it, and that one plays extremely well as well. I hope they don't get rid of these Squiers or just cheapen them in any way, because you know, they're always trying to cut corners. I had a gas this week, guys. I almost pulled the trigger on another amp, but I figured I'd wait. It doesn't hurt to wait. If anything, prices could go down. It is a buyer's market, as I mentioned last week. So I came across a really nice Supro amp that I had my eye on for a while. And those don't pop up used very often. I had sort of a bad case of gas on one of these Supro amps way back. And that kind of, I wouldn't say passed, but kind of became a little less urgent. And I kind of forgot about it for a while, but then I noticed this one popping up and I'm like, ooh, nice. So I was tempted, and I think the only thing that saved me, honestly, guys, was the temperature. I didn't feel like going out yesterday in the cold. So I decided not to go check it out, but and also timing wise is not ideal because I don't have that much free time right now to do it. So I kind of let it be, and I also figured I'd see what's coming out of NAMM first before I jump on something new, because there's a lot of cool stuff. So I said, let me just wait. Which one, says Dan? It's the Black Magic. I don't know if you've seen it or heard it. You know, the Jimmy Page. They always use the Jimmy Page to describe most Supro amps. But in actual fact, nobody really knows which Supro it was. I think it could have been the Coronado back when or whatever. But anyway, it's a cool amplifier for sure. But I'm kind of waiting on those. Dan says, I got one of those. Do you, Dan? Is it the reverb model? Is it the combo? Is it the head? Which one is it? And tell me about it. Tell me if you like it. If you do have one of those, obviously I like to have first, word of mouth through somebody who actually has it right now. So give me the news, give me the scoop, give me your feedback on it. Casey Lee says, the first part of this year I'm working on dialing in the guitars I have, maybe thinning the hurt a little. I may buy a pedal or two. I'm waiting a little bit, Casey, just because I do feel it is a buyer's market right now, and that might be the case for a while. But I feel like things are not moving very quickly on the used market. So I do have things that I want to sell as well. But I'm kind of waiting a little bit. So Dan Steely says, the Jimmy Page speaker, and it rocks hard, an excellent amp. When you say the Jimmy Page speaker, what do you mean by that? Because I know they came out with Jensen's first, and then they actually, Supro changed it and put in their own proprietary speaker in there. So I'm not sure what you mean by the Jimmy Page speaker. Dan says no reverb is the only drawback, but it has a tremolo. The one I'm talking about though, Dan, has the reverb. It's the reverb model in a combo. That's why I was interested, because it is a combo. It does have reverb and it does have the tremolo. It doesn't have a send return in the back though. So if you want to use effects, you can't. You have to go in the front of it. Dan says the Jensen speaker versus the Supro speaker. Yeah, exactly. So which one does yours have? Does it have the Jensen version or the Supro? David says the one soaked in Jack Daniels. Is that how they get them to sound so good? Yeah. So David said, my kid's boyfriend gave me a Guitar Center gift card. Is he trying to get on your good side, David? Well, he'd be in my good books. It's okay to get bribed once in a while. You can accept that gift. So Dan says he has the Jensen with no reverb. Yeah, the one I'm looking at doesn't have the Jensen. It has the Supro version of that speaker. So I don't know how much it differs between the Jensen, but it's on my radar. I'm gonna see. Like I always say, guys, if the amp doesn't sell and it's still there in a few days, that means it's meant to be, and I should check it out. If it's gone, it's not meant to be. No big deal. Thanks, Fox. Fox has just commented. He says, great video on the Lava Studio. Yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad you watched it. It's right there, actually, the Lava Studio, right over here. It's a really cool piece of gear, guys. I don't know if you watched the link. I put it in the chat while you guys were waiting for me to go live. I did a video of it yesterday. The video really doesn't do it justice because it's really hard to video the screen, because the screen looks sometimes like it's flickering, but that's not actually what you're seeing in real life. It's just the camera. It's just a sync thing. But the screen is really sharp, and it's hard to capture all of that on a video. And all the stuff that it can do really blew me away, because this is a Kickstarter product, by the way, guys. I don't know if you know about this, but it's basically one of those Bluetooth, you know, kind of like a desktop all-in-one guitar rig. And the cool thing that Lava's doing that other people are not doing is they have like a whole ecosystem. So basically, you have the ability to configure your patches, your rig, the pedals, the amp, like a regular multi-effects unit, let's say. You can save all of those. And that is really cool because you can play through the speaker like a real amp. It's 40 watts. And so it sounds really, really good. You can also use it as a Bluetooth speaker, and it also allows you to plug into the Lava ecosystem where you're able to share files with other people. You're able to jam on tracks. It has a built-in mini DAW that you can actually record things in, and you know, record your tracks and all that kind of stuff. There's lessons, there's videos. You can use it to browse YouTube. You can plug into your iTunes or Spotify or whatever you're using to play your music. And it's an all-in-one product, and it even has a cool stand, as you can see. So the only drawback to me is the fact that it is a new product. It's been released recently. They raised over $2.2 million for this product through Kickstarter, which is crazy, which basically tells me that a lot of people are looking for these kind of products or interested in these kind of products, and I think we're going to see them more and more. They're the first to actually integrate a screen like that and make it look like an Apple product. It really is a really cool top shelf product, except it's pretty expensive. I mean, you're looking at a product that is probably around the $1,000 mark. So if you're looking at buying something like that, it's not something that you're just gonna buy right away, spur of the moment, you know. So I think that's the only drawback really right now, because I know that they're constantly upgrading functionality and firmware. They put out a patch yesterday to improve the global EQ, and I'm sure they're going to be doing more with it. So it's pretty cool. But, you know, again, dropping that kind of coin, you got to think about it, especially since there's a lot of other products out there, including Positive Grid and other companies doing similar stuff. Yeah, David says, because the refresh rate on the camera and the screen are different. Exactly. You have to kind of sync them to get rid of that flicker, you know. And I'm not really good at all that kind of technical stuff, so I really don't know how to fix it. So I just did the best I could. But if you guys check it out yourself, you'll see that you can take my word for it. It does look and sound way better than probably what you heard on my video. But you know, take it with a grain of salt. Steven wants to know, can you jam along with YouTube on the Lava? Yeah, you can. That's the cool thing. So once you have your rig set up, right? So you have your rig that you've chosen, so you can play a video and you can play along with it. You can hear yourself in the headphones while you're playing along with it. It has not necessarily backing tracks, but you can import a song in their DAW, and it'll analyze it for you, and it'll break the song up into stems. So let's say you import a song, and so now it's just one audio file. It'll break it up into the different components. So bass, guitar, drums, vocals, and all that kind of stuff. Then you can mute one of the stems. Let's say you want to create a guitar backing track, and you want to just play over the song, but you don't want the original guitar to be heard. So you just turn off that stem, and you can play over it and record. And then you can take those files and share them, because there's a sort of like a social community that they've established through Lava. And you can actually invite people, or people can play over your jams, over your improvisation. So for example, let's say I do a little improvisation over a blues tune or something like that. You can publish it, and somebody can listen to it and can actually do their version of that particular take, which is pretty cool as well. So there's a lot of really cool functionality built into it. Is it perfect? I wouldn't say it's perfect. There's a couple of little things that are quirky in terms of just the way the interface, where certain things are, how you get to different things within the menu, but I'm sure they will make that better over time. So, all right, good morning. Hey, Rico, how's it going? Rico's in sunny Arizona while we're freezing our asses off here in Canada. Well, what are you going to do? Rico says, did you watch the interview Dweezil Zappa did with Shark Guitars at NAMM? Crazy innovation. Not yet. Not yet. I'm trying to stay in front of the wave. There's so many things that are coming out in NAMM that I'm trying to stay up to speed on all the good stuff. But there's a lot of videos coming out, so I haven't watched all of them, but I will. I'll get around to it. So tell me, guys, what are you guys looking at? What has enticed you at NAMM? I did put in a poll, and so far, from what I can see here, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll refresh just to be sure that I'm looking at the last version here. So far, a lot of you are saying that the poll question here was, and I'm not going to end the poll yet because people are still voting. Has NAMM enticed you to purchase something new in the last few days? And only 19% of you said yes. 81% of you said no, which I'm surprised because there are some cool things that are out this year. So tell me, guys, why are you not enticed? What's going on? Are you guys feeling a little depressed this year or something? You're kind of like not into it, or is it just that there's nothing really interesting that you've seen? What's going on? Explain. I'm curious because I've spotted a couple of things, and I'll talk about those. I spotted a couple of things. David says, my favorite was the Epiphone double cut. There should be more double cut Gibsons and Epiphones. Yeah, there's a few. Well, Gibson did release a couple of new models for their 335s, but they're the expensive ones. They're not the Epiphone models. So yeah. Now I'm partial to the Epiphones and the Gibson 335s. I like the semi-hollow aspects of those guitars. So yeah, I think those will be very popular. Mean Gene says, Sire Q series looks cool. The Sire guitars also have been making quite a few waves lately. And they're good quality guitars. Everything leads me to believe that you wouldn't be disappointed with a Sire guitar if you're looking at something that is not necessarily the big three. Casey wants to know, is the Valaton GP150 out yet? I think I'm leaning more towards the GP200. I believe they are. I think they are out. I'm pretty sure you can get those already, Casey. Rico wants a Shark guitar. So Dan says the Epi double cut did look cool, but it has Epi ProBuckers. So are you not a fan of the ProBuckers? A lot of people say they sound good, the ProBuckers. And David says they did announce a new Alex Lifeson 335. I think they're riding the wave on the Rush reunion now, right? So it's a good opportunity for them to release a new model on the 335. I'm curious about that one in terms of pricing more than anything else. Mean Gene says, I really like the yellow and pink Marshalls Paul Gilbert was playing through. Do you think those will be a standard issue? Think they'll be on the roster? Or is it just for the show? I'm not really sure. The NUX MG50 Li was cool. Yeah, that is a cool product indeed. There's a lot of those products coming out, guys. So hold on to your hats. It's going to be harder and harder to make a buying decision because they all are, all competing with one another. at the end of the day, is like, do you go for price? Do you go for features, or, you know, a little bit of both? The Trio amp looks cool. Paul says the Wampler pedal head power amp, small board friendly killer, uses machine learning, not just a bit of fancy EQ. Yeah, Paul, you took the words right out of my mouth. That to me is the main item I was looking at. That's what caught my attention right away. I'd buy one. I mean, it seems to be like it's the exact thing that I'm looking for. You know, something that is small, that you can actually emulate an amplifier with and bring it with you, plug your pedals in, and basically a very easy to carry solution that sounds good. Now, the real question here is, does it sound good? And I saw a video of Phil X. He was playing through it at the booth, and I saw, I think Dave Friedman was there. I saw him in the background, and he was basically switching between a real amp and the unit, real amp and the unit, and they were asking him, like, tell me which one is the unit, and he wasn't able to do it. So I don't know if it's, you know, if that was set up or anything like that. I don't think so. But until I hear more videos, because I haven't really seen that many videos of people playing through it, and the ones that I have, they were probably going direct. They weren't like miking anything. But the idea here is that with that and with the machine learning, which is AI basically, you're able to take that and go into a cabinet or even load your own IRs, and it's supposed to sound like a real amp. So, you know, depending on the price of it, and it's weird that, well, not weird, it's odd that both Dave Friedman and Wampler came out with something at the same time. And it looks like Friedman has the fully baked version, the more expensive version, which goes up to, I believe it's louder. It's probably like 60 watts or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it seems to be the more expensive version. And then Wampler came out with the smaller version that is a bit more portable and probably a little skimpier on features. But it's all done through the folks at Synergy. And I was looking at a Synergy amp also. That's something that also caught my attention. So all this stuff means that there's a lot of technology coming out. And I'm wondering if it's time, or if people are kind of ready to move away from tubes. And with all of the machine learning technology that's out there these days, I'm wondering if, you know, with the quality of the, you know, what they can do with replicating the sound. When it gets to the point where we can't really tell the difference anymore, at that point, I don't know if there's really a point of sticking with tubes, you know. Maybe it's time. Maybe we're going to see it in the next little while with AI. I don't know. So I'm interested in checking it out. I'm curious. What is that mini amp head on the top of your Marshall? Oh, that over there? That guy? That's a Joyo. It's a Joyo band amp. Those little amps that they have. That's the Zombie. I did a review of it not too long ago, and this is you know, a perfect segue into what I'm talking about here. Like, I'm trying to get away from heavy stuff. I got a bad back, and you know, it's not funny when you do a slight movement and your back goes out. That's not fun. And when you're carrying a lot of stuff, including a guitar case with a guitar in it, your pedal board, maybe an amplifier, an extra bag with cables and all that kind of stuff, you're like a mule, you know, bringing all this stuff to the rehearsal, trying to get through doors, trying not to slip on the ice. It's not fun. So, you know, integrating something like the mini, the amp head, which is about this big, you could pretty much put that on your pedal board. Put it on your pedal board with your pedals and go to the rehearsal, plug into the cabinet that's already there, and you're in business. So I'm gonna definitely want to check that out. Paul says Tony Brian Wampler gigs every week with it. He uses a Friedman IR tube pre, and so do I. So you already have one, Paul? Do you already have one? I'm talking about the amp head here, not the Friedman IR. David says it's not all about rationality, Tony. People, including me, will keep using old stuff even if it doesn't make sense. Well, I'm not saying we need to dump it. You know, if you already have amps, I mean, by all means, keep using them. I love amps. I love tube amps. You know, I got a few around me right here. I wouldn't necessarily just throw them away or anything like that. But you know, maybe I would enjoy playing them at home, but maybe I wouldn't have to lug them around. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think if more products are coming out with these emulations that are really good, at the end of the day, there'll be less demand for these tube amps. You know, they'll probably be a little bit more difficult to sell for the price you paid them, because people are going to be out there with a lot more choice. You know, that's just my take, guys. I mean, I don't know everything. I'm just giving you my point of view. The Human Jones says, I've been considering getting a Martin lately, and Casino Guitars did a segment with Martin at NAMM. Martin guitars are great. I have one and I'm completely happy with it. So I don't think you could go wrong with a Martin. Just find the right one. They have so many. Just enjoy playing it. It's really a beautiful guitar. It's one of those keeper guitars. You know, once you find the right one, you keep that for a long time. If they really want to take advantage of the Rush Tour, Steinberger should reissue the bass. I know, I'm surprised they haven't, because you know, there's demand still out there for those headless guitars, and they're the original or one of the old timers in that segment, so why not? The Epi IBGC Firebirds are being closed out at $1,099 at ZZ Sounds in Frost Blue, if anyone cares. I tried the Firebird. I did a review of it and everything, and I wasn't able to get used to the shape of the neck and how it attaches to the body, the whole kind of balancing act on that guitar. So they're cool guitars. I'd love to maybe have one, but I don't know. It wouldn't be an everyday guitar for me. It'd be an occasional one. Brian Wampler does make very cool stuff. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of Brian's stuff from the early days. Some of my favorite pedals, and he's a great builder. He knows his stuff. David says, which modules would you get if you had a Synergy amp, Tony? Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Friedman stuff, and I know there's a few Friedman modules that are out there. I'd probably just go opposites, you know, get something like, because I'm a big Marshall fan, so I like the Marshall sound, so you know, it would have to be like a Fender and a Marshall or something like that. Now, does that mean like it would be a Friedman or something else, you know? I like the Friedman sound a lot too, so, but I would go opposites, like, you know, dirty and clean. You have to have both. And if you're playing and it's a head that you're bringing with you to a rehearsal, you would probably want to bring the modules too, right? I know that they might still have them, the heads with 2 slots, but they also have the smaller one with just 1 slot. I think you need at least 2, to be honest. You want at least 2. Paul says, Tony, I'll get one ASAP. I've been holding off 2 years using a Boros rack mount amp. No more. Yeah, I think you're going to be very pleased with that, and I know it's going to sell like hotcakes. I'm sure right after NAMM, there's going to be a lot of buzz about those particular units. So I think a lot of influencers will probably be showcasing those in the next little while. So once that happens, I'll make a buying decision for sure. I don't know if they actually mentioned the price on it yet. Since you're looking for one, Paul, maybe you know better than me. but I have a feeling they're not going to be cheap. I'm expecting the Wampler version to be probably around 500 bucks. Maybe a little more. I hope not. I hope it'll be less. What speakers are in your Marshall 4x12 cab? The 4x12 cab are Celestion 65s behind me. The cab here, this is a 212. These are Alessandro speakers. I think they're in there. I think they're V-type speakers. I think they come standard. Profile Productions says something to say about guitar straight into an amp. I mean, I love the sound of a guitar straight into an amp if you have the right amp. The thing that I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with, I mean, if you have a really good amp, like for me, that's one of the reasons why I was interested in the Supro, because the Supro has a really nice natural breakup. And that's what I like, you know, being a Marshall fan, for example. When I say I like the Marshall sound, I like the Marshall sound as it's breaking up. But to get that in a practical way, you need to crank it. And it's not always easy to get that level, to get that tone at home. So the Supro is great because you can get the breakup. It's still very, very loud. Supro's not a quiet amplifier by any means, guys, but you can get that natural sort of grit at lower volumes. So if you have an amp like that, that has the dynamics that you want, going into an amp without any pedals or anything and getting the natural breakup from the amp is fantastic. But a lot of people can't do that. So you have to, you know, nudge it with something like at least a boost or something to be able to get that kind of breakup at lower volumes. Danielle says, sold my Martin D18 after 50 years. Old shoulder could no longer handle a dreadnought. I kept my Santa Cruz Guitar Company OM, a much easier size ergonomically. It sucks, eh, Daniel? Like, it sucks when you love something, but you have to get rid of it just because you know, something hurts. You know, I'm getting to that age now where everything hurts. So it's like, you know, as a young person, I lug Marshall cabinets down the street and, you know, heads and everything, no issue whatsoever. Never even think about downsizing. But now I've gotten to the point where I need to do it, you know, unfortunately. But we live in a good time because there's a lot of cool products that will be able to help us do that, you know, and keep on playing. So MFN says, Tony, have you seen or heard of any NAMM products aimed at improving skills? For example, technology with structured technique or instruction. Not too much, unless I missed it. The only thing, and it's not a NAMM product, is the Lava Studio, like I did the review on, which is the product right there. That is an all-in-one product that is, the reason why they call it the Studio is because it doesn't do just one thing. And it does allow you to improve your playing because there are things that tracks you can play over. There are materials in there that you can play in terms of lessons and videos, and you're able to use the software to play over music, and it'll prompt you with the chord changes so you can get used to improvising over the chord changes, kind of like a karaoke thing. You see the chord change coming up before it actually happens, so you know, oh, I'm in D, now it's going to go to A7th, so I have to change what I'm playing. So I would say that it is really geared for home use, but to make you play more and make you improve. So I really like that product for that reason. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And I know they're going to make it better. I mean, this is a brand new product, but give it a little bit of time. I'm sure they'll be adding to it and making adding functionality as well. So got a 98 California Series Strat in yesterday, black with white pickguard and rosewood. Looks better than the pictures, and I'm digging the Tex-Mex pickups. Very happy. Good, congratulations, man. Awesome, dude. I like Tex-Mex pickups. They have enough. They have just enough bite, I would say, to keep it fun. So congratulations, good. So what? Any of you waiting on items to come in? Something that you've maybe ordered and hasn't arrived yet? I'm waiting on my pickups, like I mentioned earlier in the video. They should be arriving soon, hopefully. We'll see. David says 98 is when I moved to the US. Yeah, there was a lot of colorful guitars at NAMM. I agree with you, Mean Gene. I was hoping to see something interesting out of the Charvel booth. I don't think there wasn't that much. I've seen some cool guitars coming out of the Ibanez booth as well. But I gotta say, and this is something that perhaps flew under the radar. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm ecstatic about this news. So, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of the Tokai guitars. And they're great guitars, beautifully built, Japanese quality, and they've always been very difficult to come by. Why? Because, well, you know, there's certain things that can be imported, certain things that couldn't be imported. There's lawsuits because they were very similar to the look and styling of the Fender guitars as well as the Gibson guitars and whatnot. But good news is on the way, guys, because apparently they're coming back, and they're coming back to the States, to the US, North America. So if you're a big fan of the Tokai guitars like I am, hold on to your hats. It's going to be fun. So the article says the one-time lawsuit era brand has become a cult favorite on the used market. Now its new builds are coming back to US shores. Now, I don't know, for the time being anyways, until Trump levies more tariffs maybe. I don't know if that's, hopefully that won't happen. But basically, Japanese instrument brand Tokai Guitars is renewing its presence in the US market after brokering a distribution deal with Audio Collective Group, which is known as ACG, which includes Warm Audio amongst its ranks. So they're headquartered in, Tokai is headquartered in Shizuoka, and founded in 1947. Tokai forged a name for itself in the 1970s and 1980s for its meticulous craftsmanship and affordable takes on classic American guitars. So later, it was also entrusted by Martin to build its budget-friendly Sigma line of acoustic guitars. That's when the Sigma guitars were still good. They're still good now, but they've changed. And I understand why they were good, because they were built by Tokai. And so they certainly had their fans in the US, including Kirk Hammett, Robert Fripp, Billy Gibbons, among the big name owners. Now, after a prolonged absence in the US that has seen high-end builds become sought after on the used market, Tokai is bringing that legacy back into today's guitar shops. So I'm super happy about that. Now, when you'd be able to buy them or where you'd be able to buy them, not quite sure. They are already listing a couple of guitars, including the Breezy Sound, which is they have a Telecaster and a Strat style version of this model. And they have an SSS configuration and HSS configuration, depending on what you like. So those are two really nice ones that are already announced. Then there's also a Princeton style bass for the bassists, because they also make bass guitars. So I'm curious to see whether or not they'll bring back the, you know, or still be able to sell the Gibson styled ones, because you know, Gibson is quite adamant about people not using their styles or their designs. So I don't know if that's going to be an issue, but if not, I'm a happy camper. We'll see. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. Vox, well, Paul says, I have a Fender and Gibson, but my go-to is a hot-rodded Silvertone. 1449, says Paul. Yamaha Telecaster looks cool, says Mean Gene. Yeah. Yeah, I think Matteo Mancuso was playing again in the Yamaha booth, if I'm not mistaken, at NAMM, and he's a killer guitarist. David says, I picked up a Tokai in a guitar shop last week. I swear it weighed 15 pounds. Really? That's not common. I wonder which one you grabbed, because I have 3 of them, and none of them weigh 15 pounds. I'm actually very intrigued. I wonder if it's a new model. Yeah, that would be a deal breaker for me. If a guitar weighs 15 pounds, there's no way I'm going to buy it. But the ones I have, I don't know if it's just because they're older or what, but they play wonderfully, and they're in that comfortable weight zone where I don't have to even think about it. Human Jones says, yes, got a Positive Grid Spark Live battery-powered guitar amp PA coming in Wednesday from Sweetwater. Gonna be doing some street busking. Cool, man. Well, those Positive Grid devices are really selling like hotcakes, and a lot of people do like them. And they have a place, definitely have a place. It's gonna be something you're gonna enjoy, I'm telling you. Vox says Tokai announcement is good news for guitar players. Not much for my wallet. Exactly. Mine too, man. Mine too. Oof. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what else they announce in terms of future models there. All right, guys. If you don't mind, if you can give me a thumbs up, that would be something I would really appreciate, because it also, it appeases the gods when it comes to getting the algorithm to find your stuff and basically promote your streams and all that kind of stuff. So if you can, I would appreciate it. I wanted to also announce that the Marshall brand, they have decided to also get into the Marshall Bluetooth speakers. And what they've done is they're now launching a new line of speakers, which are basically a multi-room type system, which allows you to stream your music in different rooms. Their price point is about $299, and it's basically a Wi-Fi music streamer. And Marshall's going to get more and more into this type of stuff, since they were bought out by a company that kind of really focuses on these type of products more than amplifiers, because that's what they sell more than anything. So I know that they came out with that Bluetooth speaker recently that, if you're interested in streaming music throughout your home, that could be a good way of doing it. They also have come out with new headphones. So there's a lot of things coming out from Marshall that is not necessarily an amplifier. I would be really happy if they would come out with more amplifiers, but it's funny that they're kind of not necessarily releasing amplifiers as frequently anymore. And also, I didn't see any announcement or any news from the good folks over at Mesa Boogie, unless I haven't seen it yet, but I didn't see any big announcements. So I'm curious to see, what they're doing in terms of amplifiers as well. Yamaha has been busy. I mean, with their new all the guitar lines and the updates that they're putting out for that, they've been very busy. They're also busy putting out music production products, right? So of course, Yamaha does everything. One of the cool things that I've seen from the Yamaha booth is that they announced the MGX series digital mixing consoles, which basically are new mixers, very sleek looking, but they're designed for musicians, performers, streamers, podcasters, content creators. They've just made it easier for everybody to use the current software and functionality that people are kind of leaning towards. And so I'm curious to see how well these things will work, because I'd be interested in maybe upping the game a little bit in terms of being able to get better audio performance out of some products that will allow me to do just more than just one thing. So they're not going to be cheap, and nothing, like was mentioned earlier, like nothing's really cheap anymore. but I think we're getting a lot more choice in terms of functionality out there. And it's good to see that more stuff is coming out. Seymour Duncan also, they came out with a brand new active pickup that is basically competing with the Fishman pickups. And they call it the triple voiced Mortacoil. It's an odd name for a pickup, Mortacoil. It sounds more like something, a character in Final Combat or something like that, you know, or Tekken, you know what I mean, those video games. But it's called the Mortacoil. It's a mouthful. And apparently it has 3 voices on it. So you can actually switch between 3 distinct voices. You do have to use a battery, but apparently the battery life on this thing is longer than normal. I honestly haven't ever owned active pickups. I haven't really felt the need, but maybe this will change things. But apparently they're voiced in 3 different sort of flavors. So you have the more attack focused sound for modern metal players. And they also have the JB tones. Like I like the Jeff Beck pickup. So that's another option. So you have more metal, Jeff Beck, and you have a 3rd voicing in there as well. So you get a lot under the hood. It's almost like you're getting 3 pickups in one, which is cool. It's a cool idea. The thing is, I mean, if you only like one of the 3, then it's kind of, you're paying, I think they're $279 a set or $169 per pickup. So $170 a pickup is not cheap, right? And almost $300 a set. You got to really like all 3 of the sounds. If you do, then you're in business. If you only like one, it's kind of expensive. I don't know how many of you might be interested in something like that. Any of you? David says the Tokai I tried was a vintage double cut. I asked the guy next to me to lift it and he agreed it was freakishly heavy. Well, I understand if it's a double cut. Yeah, I mean a double, sorry, is it a double cut or a double neck? If it's a double neck, I understand. But if it's simply a double cut, yeah, that's heavy. 15 pounds, no way. I would just put it right back. Step away slowly. Tony, why is no company coming out with better sounding modeling amps like the Fractal or the Quad Cortex advanced amp modeling? Well, I mean, they are. A lot of companies are coming out with really cool stuff. Fractal is still making great stuff. I mean, they just recently announced a beta which I downloaded for the FM9, and it sounds even better than the last version. So they're constantly upgrading their sounds. And Fractal's never at NAMM because they sell direct. They don't sell through distributors. So they don't need to be at NAMM. They just sell directly on their website. But they make amazing stuff. And they did announce the new smaller version recently. So for those of you who maybe don't need the full sized FM9, they have an FM4, I believe. And that I think will sound just as good as what you're getting off the FM9. I don't think they're skimping or in any way cutting back on the quality of the sounds just because it's not as big as the FM9. So those, I wouldn't hesitate to go through any of those. You have Synergy making cool stuff. What else? You have there's a couple of other companies that also came out with the brand new like small Cortex, with the screen on it. That's going to be cool too, I think. Vinny says, did you see the Offender announcement of their Bluetooth speakers? I did, yeah. I'm not surprised. They're coming out with one too. Everybody has one of those now. Yeah, it looks cool. Looks interesting. And MFN says, I just saw Marshall has a TV soundbar. Marshall's going to have everything. They're going to, in terms of electronics, they're going to cover the gamut. I'm telling you. That's where they make most of their money. Dewey says, hey Tony, bought my first piece of gear this year, the J-Rocket Melody OD-EQ pedal. I love that pedal, dude. Congratulations, that's an awesome pedal. I've been trying to get one of those, but I've been trying to see if I can find one on the used market. Couldn't find one. If I saw one used, I'd grab one right away. How do you like it? It seems like a no-brainer. Like, why didn't anyone think of that before? You know, just merge an overdrive pedal and an EQ pedal, and you cover so much. You know, you can do it in 2 devices, but why would you? You know, just one slot on your pedal board, and away you go. Michael wants to know what FR pedal I would, not pedal, but speaker I would recommend that could be used with guitar and bass. I have the Headrush there, and I also have a Line 6, which is in a cabinet form. Both of them sound great. The Headrush has a bit more bass, which is not necessarily something you want. If you go with the Headrush, I wouldn't go with the big speakers. The big speakers would just have too much bass. I went with the smaller speakers. They're just as powerful, but they're more in line with the frequency response you want for guitar. The Line 6 cabinet that I have also is really good. It looks more like a regular cabinet for guitar, and it works really well as well. They're both really great. Now, there's a lot more that you can get, and some of them are very expensive, but I don't think you need to go that crazy. The only thing you have to remember is that they are, like, the Headrush is pretty much focused in terms of like if you're jamming with a band and you're not like right in front of it, it doesn't have a lot of spread. So, you know, you might benefit from having 2, and then you can go full stereo. Other than that, I think they work pretty well. The Human Jones says, Tony, did you say last live that your Tokai Les Paul is your favorite? That's got me really curious about Tokai. It is. Yeah, I love Tokai, man. I have a couple of Gibson Les Pauls, and I would probably sell the Les Paul before the Tokai. The Tokai I have behind me here, that's another one. I have 3. That one is also very good, but that's not my number 1. The number 1 is not in the room right now. But yeah, those guitars are fantastic. Casey said, I don't have a Love Rock, but I've played 3 and 2 are better by far than my Gibby. I'm telling you, if you get the right ones, and because you got to stay away from the Korean ones, stick with the Japanese ones. The older ones I think are really, really great. You can still get some relatively new models, but generally they don't sell them in North America till now. You would probably have to get them like in obviously Japan, different parts of Asia, as well as Europe. Like I know there was a store in Italy selling models that were brand new, and they looked really great. They had beautiful flames on them. Fantastic. Unfortunately, though, now, guys, the issue is that the cat's out of the bag with those guitars, and you used to be able to get them for cheap and really good quality. Now you're paying a lot. When I bought mine, like the number 1 that I like a lot, I paid $600 for. You're not going to be able to get a Tokai for $600 anymore. Now they're about $2,000 or in that range, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. Casey says Epiphone has Fishman Fluence pickups in their IBG models that do the same thing. That's exactly right. Yeah, they're competing, right? That's the thing. They're trying to get a piece of that Fishman pie right now. Wayne says, I got a Love Rock and it's awesome. Paid $800. Get one if you can. Yeah, if you can get one for $800 still, that's also a good deal. So if it's a double cut, David, yeah, that's heavy, man. I don't understand why it would be so heavy like that. So, Tony, I mean combo 1x12 modeling amps, for example, that could have better modeling. Oh, yeah, they're coming, man. They're coming. For sure. They're coming. As I mentioned, the Synergy has a combo. It's not necessarily a modeling amp, but I mean, they do replicate other amplifiers. So I guess you can consider it a modeling amp. It's a combo that you can slap in the modules, and away you go. But yeah, it's coming, man. I'm telling you, with AI, DSPs are gonna get better, and it's gonna be crazy. So it's good. It's good news if you're out there for the sound. I think we're gonna have a lot more choice, and maybe the prices will be cheaper too, depending on the technology. We'll see. All right. Falling behind here. I gotta catch up on the chats. Michael says, "Thank you. I love your content. Keep it coming." Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that, dude. Dewey says, "I picked up the J-Rocket pedal up on sale for 180 bucks. It sounds fantastic. Wondered the same thing. Why didn't someone else think of doing this?" I know, man. Shit, man. If you would have told me it was on sale, I would have grabbed one too. Missed the opportunity. Let's see here. Paul says, "I've seen an Epiphone amp at the Gibson booth, but no mention in the videos, and I watch them. Have to because I post them on my site." I don't know which Epiphone amp you're referring to there. They had the Snake Pit a while ago. Epiphone did. That was kind of like the small slash amplifier. It didn't sound very good though. So yeah. So yeah, so and some, again, answering your question as to why more companies are not getting into the modeling thing, I don't think that's true because, well, Vox just announced a new generation of amplifiers. They call the Valvetronics series, and basically they're marrying two types of technology, right? It's a hybrid type amplifier, so it's kind of like what Fender did not that long ago. And I'm just wondering how well it's going to work. I haven't heard them yet. I don't even own a Vox amp yet, but with these amplifiers, if they sound decent enough, maybe it'll be something that I can maybe pick up and try. It's a modeling amp, by the way, in case you're wondering. So check it out. The new amps are on the way. I think, how much are these amps? The VT20X is available for $279, while its bigger, louder brother is $399. So they're going to have a few different ones. So check it out. Maybe that's what you're looking for. It's funny, but Vox is playing both sides of the spectrum, because on one side they're announcing these new Valvetronic amplifiers. On the other side, they're announcing the new hand-wired AC30 head and V212 cabinet. Talk about heavy amplifiers, right? So these are a brand new. It's a debut of the AC30 hand-wired versions. So if ever. Obviously, the AC30s are very popular and people love them. It's hard to get the old ones and find the old ones. So they re-released the AC30, but it's a head and combo. So two separate components, which I don't know if do you really need a head and a combo for a Vox? I wouldn't think so, unless you would you want to put a different type of cabinet under the Vox? Perhaps, but the design of the Vox is so traditional, like anything else but a cabinet with those diamond grills underneath looks kind of out of place, wouldn't you say? Anyway, yeah, they're re-releasing this cabinet amp combo, And the amp, just the head is $2,000 US, and the cabinet is $1,005 US. So if you want the head and cabinet, you're looking at $3,500 US. So yeah, not inexpensive, man. Save your pennies, guys. So many new things, and they're all designed for doctors and lawyers. Or the Eagles, because the Eagles are still making lots of money. Recently it was announced that the Eagles' 1976 release, The Greatest Hits, has officially become the first album to go quadruple diamond. So they've sold in the US, I believe, over 40 million units so far, and it's still going strong. So it's crazy because Hotel California is now certified at 28 times platinum, and the third best-selling album of all time in the US, with more than 28 million copies sold. So those guys are laughing all the way to the bank. That's a lot of sales. So they could afford all the new gear from NAMM. Oh, those poor guys. How do they do it? You know? Yeah, so the Quad Cortex Mini was one of the cool products that I saw recently released at NAMM. And when I first looked at it, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, oof. It's this big. It's got 4 switches on each corner. It's rectangular in shape, right? It's got 4 switches on each corner and a big glass screen on it. And I'm like, oof, who thought of that design? I mean, how long is it going to take for that screen to break? And that was the first thing I thought about. It's like, yeah, that's going to break. Now, I've already seen a YouTuber do a video where he's stomping the crap out of it. He's stepping right on the glass, like pretty aggressively, and it didn't break. And now, is that going to be your experience? I don't know. The issue with this unit also is that it also is priced very expensively. I have the price in euros, and it's 1,229 euros. So you do the cross conversion on that. That's very expensive. Like, I would have instantly jumped on this if it was around $500 or $600. But at that price, oof, I think it's going to be a pass for me. Any of you interested in that model? Have you seen it? I guess you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Dan says I have both the Vox AC30 and the AC15 paired with a 2x12 Alnico Blue cabinet. Definitely cuts down on the weight to transport them. Yeah, those are heavy amps. That's probably one of the reasons why I never actually bought a Vox. It just seems like it's a backbreaker to me. Human Jones says, I pawned my Sigma when I was 15 to get concert tickets. Guy said he would not sell it for 2 weeks and I could come back and buy it. 1 week later, I went to buy it back and he said, get the fuck out of my store. He had already sold it. Oh, man. That's a sad story. Well, I hope the concert was worth it. Please tell me it was a decent concert at least. Do you want to share that with us? What concert was it? David said, Quad Diamond, impressive considering they're not that good. I guess a lot of people would disagree with you on that one, David. I don't know. Yeah. David says, I prefer the solo stuff from each member, especially Don Henley. Oh, they got some good ones in there. I think it's just because we've heard them so many times. Jim Simmons says, I also think the price of the QC Mini is too high. Yeah, they're going to have to adjust that, man. I think they're just aiming way too high on these products. Like, guys, come on. I understand, things are getting expensive, labor is getting expensive and everything else around that, but I don't know, man. Can't afford that stuff anymore. What's going on? I have to ask for a raise. There's you guys have you probably heard that there was the I'm getting a senior moment here. Seymour Duncan had put out in January the release of the Slash 3.0 signature humbucker set. Did you guys see this? Which was a recreation of the pickups for the Slash model. Now they've unveiled the 50th anniversary limited edition JB Jazz humbucker set, which celebrates the company's roots via period correct parts such as burette bobbins and rough cast magnets. Retro Tonehounds will love, apparently. Again, is it a cash grab, or is it just are they making it better, or they're just taking an opportunity to raise the pricing again? Hard to know. Music Man has beautiful guitars. They always come out with amazing looking guitars. But again, they're super expensive. Now there's a Music Man, looking at the price for these guitars, you're looking at $3,500 to $3,700 US for these Music Man guitars. I had a Music Man, which was a really nice guitar, but I just didn't get along with the neck shape on it, and I sold it. But those guitars, at the time, I think I paid it $900, but now that same guitar is $3,500. It's crazy. So yeah. Where are we going with all this stuff, guys? Where are we going? I'm happy just playing my Squiers here, my contemporary Squiers that are like, $300, not even, because I bought this one used. And today I'll be slapping in the new pickups in this guitar, and I don't need to be spending $3,000 to get to be happy with my guitars, man. I can do it with a very inexpensive guitar too, and I'm sure you can as well. So. Yeah, the Gibson 1959 humbuckers, $1,000. Yeah, I know, man. But that's Gibson for you, dude. Gibson is, grabbing as much cash as they can. They can do it. There's people that are willing to pay that kind of money. I know. Vox, you hit the nail on the head with that. I didn't want to say it, but Vox says, I find it funny that Gibson is taking stock in Slash's name with his first Les Paul, which wasn't actually a Gibson. It was a knockoff, right? It was a fake Gibson. But hey, they're going to take whatever they can and run with it. Jimmy says, Tony, also, as you said about the QC Mini, the screen could be damaged if you misstep on it. Should be a tabletop unit. But there again, Jimmy, as I mentioned, I did see a YouTuber really aggressively beat the crap out of it and stomp right on the screen a few times, and it didn't break. So maybe they're using some kind of special technology, some type of bulletproof glass that I don't know about, but I doubt it. I think eventually, those products with screens, eventually, you got to be careful with them, in terms of being roadworthy. They got a limited lifespan, I think. Yeah, I know, he still plays the fake Gibsons, yeah. Casey says, I have a Surf Green Squire Bullet Telecaster I paid $129 for, and I play it all the time. Paul says the QC Mini has exact same chips as the full size, just a few less jacks and switches, so I'm surprised they are not wanting more. Wanting more or costing more? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're not wanting more, but I still think they're too expensive. Anyway, it is what it is, guys. If you have the budget for it, go to it, man. Run all the way to the store. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that the Wampler thing to come out, see how that thing pans out. Magnatone also introduced 4 new amps. Speaking of expensive stuff, Magnatone, they do sound great. Billy Gibbons is a player of the Magnatone amps, and they're high-end amps, you know, like you're looking at, you know, I think the minimum price on these amplifiers are $2,300 US. So they're not like giving them away or anything like that. So they've come out with a few other models, maybe smaller, lower end in terms of sound. I haven't actually seen or heard too much sound samples on that, but they came out with a Varsity Reverb model, and it's point to point. So point to point means it's going to be expensive, and that's about $3,300 US right now. You know, Slash also plays the Magnatone amps as well. So, you know, if you got the cash for one of those, I'm sure they'll be dreamy to play. Just don't tell the wife how much you paid. Oh man, this is these are, you know, divorce prices. That we're slowly getting into divorce price territory with all this guitar gear. Tony, are you putting a preloaded pickguard into your Squire? No, I'm going to be swapping out the pickups I mentioned earlier. I'm doing a little test where I'm actually swapping. These are ceramic pickups. These are stock ceramic pickups that came with the guitar. They sound good. I'm not saying they sound bad, but it's more a question. I want to actually do a test to try out some very inexpensive pickups that I bought off Amazon. They're less than $50 for a set of two. So you're looking at a, you know, 24, 25 bucks each. And they were actually cheaper before. They actually went up in price. But I'm going to put them in here. They have Alnico 2 magnets in there. And I just want to compare which ones sound better. So I'm going to be doing that surgery probably today if they arrive anytime soon. And put them into this guitar and do a comparison video. I'll post it so you guys can vote on which one you think sounds best. And I'll use your ears out there to determine which ones should stay in. Paul says, well, first of all, Jimmy says, Tony, just wait until Sonic Cake or Valley Tongue come out with the advanced modeling like in the Fractal or the QC for half the price, which is just around the corner, I'm sure. Dan says, I got a Fender Players Limited with a roasted maple neck and a custom shot Fat 50s for $649. That plays damn near as well as my custom shop. That's a good freaking price, dude. Congratulations on that. Oh, where did you find that deal, man? I'm sure you had to jump on it. Mean Gene says, I like my HSS, but would like an SSS preloaded pickguard with solderless contacts. You can get those from Guitar Fetish, I think, sells some of those as well. Paul says, Tony, you get 90% of the way there with a tube pre, so the Wampler should close the gap. I'm hoping they sound as good as I think they will. I was a little disappointed with a couple of things that I purchased, that there was so much hype going on, and then when I finally bought the stuff, I'm like, man, it doesn't sound that great. The Human Jones says, my $350 Mexican Strat sounds fantastic. Cheapest guitar in the house. Way it goes. Those Mexican Strats were a deal, man. Back in the day, you would be able to get a Mexican Strat brand new for like $500, I remember, back in the day. So basically, you can get 2 Mexican Strats for the price of 1 American Strat. Vox says, just don't tell your wife what you paid. My wife literally laughed out loud. Yeah, man, laugh. You're going to laugh when you're getting divorced. We'll laugh together, dude. Anyways, Dan Steely says, PRS SEs are fantastic guitars too. Yes, in terms of quality for cost, yeah. I agree. I didn't see many new models from the SE line yet. The Human Jones says, I love custom shop Fat 50 is going to put a set in my Sunburst Strats. Yeah, that's a good option, dude. I'm just waiting to figure out which humbuckers I'm going to be putting into my Charvel. I've decided that although I love the Charvel that I purchased, it has ceramic pickups as well, humbucker, single. The middle single always gets in the way, and I'm going to switch it to a humbucker configuration. I'm going to order the pick guard for it today, because they do sell pick guards that you can drop in, so you don't have to drill new holes. I'm going to order that today, and then switch it over. I'm going to just pull out the pick guard as is that I have in there now, put it aside in case I change my mind in the future, and go with a 2 humbucker configuration, which I think I'm going to enjoy more, like this one, you know. I just have to find the right ones. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Anything else you want to ask before we do? I've been talking for an hour and a half. I think we're getting to saturation time. Unless you guys have a last minute question you want me to address. And FM says, I got a Mexican Telecaster in 2021 for about $500. Still in my top 3 favorites. I got one of those road worn Telecasters. I got it in back of me there. Still one of my favorites. Yeah, and I paid around that price for it. It just feels and plays so well. So for me, I didn't feel like I needed to go beyond that. The Nice says, Tony, does everyone have insurance coverage for their gear? I have pics and serial numbers, so my home insurance should cover any loss. I have the same pictures of everything. Obviously, I do, because I document everything with my videos online as well. So I don't think that insurance companies could deny me since I have so much proof. But yeah, it's a good idea to document take pictures of everything, which I do, blemishes, distinguishing marks, serial numbers, all that good stuff, because yeah, anything could happen. It's always good to be prepared and just make sure that you're covered. Talk to your insurance company; they'll tell you what to do. But generally, you can do that. And I like to also just hide a specific like piece of information within the guitar, so that if ever you do come across it, you can easily prove that it's yours. It kind of deliberately makes it difficult for people to deny that that's your guitar. So there's little things like that you can do for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of it. Vox has another question here. Vox says, I could have bought a Japanese reissue of the Pink Paisley Telecaster for $800 a while back. Still kicking myself for missing that deal. You know what's funny, Vox? Those Japanese reissues, I was able to buy the original one. It was in the store, and it wasn't that expensive. And I looked at it, and I'm like, am I going to regret buying a Pink Paisley or one of those Paisley guitars? And I'm like, I think I'll pass. And I never actually bought one, but they're cool looking. They actually are cool looking. And I think if you have one, you probably will enjoy it. Now they're obviously worth more. So. All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you once again. Go back and play your guitar. Maybe take some time to check out some of today's new videos coming out in NAMM. Maybe stuff that we've missed. And basically try not to get too tempted. I can't guarantee I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show up next week with something new, but I'm going to try and be good. Next week, however, there may not be a show unless I decide to do a show somewhere from Vegas, because I'm going to be there. And I probably won't have time to do a Sunday show, but I'll never say never. If I can, I will. All right. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Please give us a thumbs up on the way out if you haven't already done so. If you're new and you were shy and lurking behind the scenes and you didn't subscribe, please hit the subscribe button so you can join in on the chat next time and join in on the fun. And we'll be back with more, including some cool reviews as well. So just keep checking back the channel and seeing what's new, because I post from time to time, including the video that I posted yesterday, actually this morning, on the lava studio that's behind me, in case you're wondering what that was. It's also in the link to that video is also in the chat. Go back and take a look at my other videos. There's hundreds of them, and I'm sure you'll find something interesting to tickle your fancy. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon. Stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy playing the heck out of your gear. See you soon, man.